Hi, I'm Kim Ureta. I'm with my good friend Kristie Eccleston, and we're going to be talking about using medicinal essential oils for curbing cravings. And
Yeah.
yeah, so Kristie is a friend of yoga, so she'll be able to share her side of it using breathing techniques, and I'll be able to talk about the chemistry behind using essential oils and helping the brain chill out. So how do I make this so that I can put us both in the screen here?
I think you go
Oh,
up to
view,
view at the top.
gallery. Okay, that's better. Anyway, so I don't like just looking at my own face here.
No, nobody wants to look at their own face for
So, so specifically with using medicinal essential oils, that means it's not going to be the kind that you just get at the store. doTERRA Essential Oils has partnered with allopathic medicine and university studies, and they are working on getting each of their oils FDA, and they go through human trials. So now they're in the physician's desk reference, and they're considered pharmaceutical grade. So as of right now, lavender doTERRA is pharmaceutical grade. And I believe the next they're working on is a blend called On Guard. But that's very exciting for me because it means that it's a validation and a pat on the back, having been involved with doTERRA for 12 years and or almost. So the first one I want to share. So I am a recovering alcoholic and a codependent. So you're getting it from the horse's mouth on what works and, just how do we heal ourselves? And, that's like the fastest way is work on your own stuff and then you share it with other people. So peppermint, doTERRA peppermint. So when we take a drop in our hands, this is like one of my coping skills. I just rub it together and you close your eyes and you're going to just breathe it in, your nose and your mouth. So what that does, the essential oil, when you breathe it in, it crosses the olfactory and then it crosses the blood-brain barrier. And it's actually working on your brain chemistry. So it's helping the stress hormones go down, adrenaline, cortisol, that kind of stuff. And it's helping the calming hormones go up. So like serotonin, things like that. And for me, as someone, like when you're in the moment and you're feeling a craving and you're like, wow, what am I feeling? And how can I intervene? So breathing that in, it's cognitive therapy. That's like the old rubber band where you're stopping that neural pathway of a habit. So if we breathe the peppermint in, now we've scientifically balanced the pool in your brain. And now instead of your neural pathway going, it's gonna go off a side street. So we're creating a new habit in the brain, which I find fantastic. So I like hearing the scientific parts of it and how it works because it gives me peace of mind, just like I grew up with ibuprofen. If I'm in pain, I'm going to take this. And I know in about 15, 20 minutes, I'll feel better. So if I'm teaching this to people, I love knowing it gives me comfort. So my next oil is wild orange. So wild orange, it comes from the Dominican Republic. Same thing. You're going to put it in your hand and you're going to breathe it in, and wild orange and peppermint smell really good together. So this was actually done in at the University of San Diego. It was called aromapharmacology, and it was done with children between 11 and 13. They diffused wild orange essential oil during their sessions, and these children had psychosis, so they were on medication for that. And what the parents started reporting back is that after they'd been diffusing wild orange in their home for just several days or less than a week, their episodes were going away. And then over a period of 9 months, they were able to get many of these preteens off of medications.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love hearing that stuff.
So it's Dr. Danielle Daniel, and it's aromapharmacology. If you're a geek and you want to look it up, look on pubmed.org. The next one I choose, because many people, when they're feeling like they want to pick up a drink. They want to pick up, I don't know what it is. It could be they want to control somebody in their life. That's also an addiction. They feel their breath becomes short. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're in that fight and flight stage. If you have the desire to control somebody, you're not in a calm state of mind at all. So if you can switch that, then the breathe can help assist in that switch. Then you can activate that parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah. And they're not just staying in that upper respiratory short breath, which would throw you straight into fight or flight.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how I would use breathe is I would take a couple drops in my hand, and you can literally just rub it over your chest.
Okay.
Just that's such a calming thing.
Okay.
That's reminding you like, okay, let's get out of your head and let's get back into your body. And when you breathe it in, the blend breathe has peppermint, eucalyptus, rosemary, ravinasara, lemon. They actually they open up the oxygen receptors in your lungs so that you're getting more oxygen throughout your body and your brain. So your oxygen level will go up.
Okay.
Which has a very calming effect on the brain.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then you can also, any of these you can be adding into your diffuser. The next one is a blend called Adaptive, and it's the calming blend. This one is really cool. They did a bunch of studies on this. The way that they blended it, it has lavender, sweet gum, which would be amber, spearmint, let's see, rosemary, copaiba. These are all specifically blended to help calm the body and the brain. So they make capsules of this, and then they have this blend here, and used in conjunction can be like something that you'd want to take on a regular basis. So if I were experiencing, like a chronic thing, like every day I'm struggling, so I would want to be using it specifically in the morning, specifically at night, or when I knew I would be in a stressful situation, like going in public, that kind of thing. So I would create a regimen with using this and diffusing it at night to help with sleep and to really work on a chronic level. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just had a question. So it sounds like this would be ideal for somebody sort of early in recovery who is like trying to create who's just really struggling like minute to minute, and then just creating that habit of a daily time when they use this oil to help.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I find as a recovering alcoholic, that first couple of days when you're like in physical pain and the withdrawal symptoms give you so much anxiety and the sleep problems, it really helps to ground you and calm your body down so that you can try to stay in the moment and get on a meeting, talk to somebody, that kind of thing. And then my last oil I'll share is grapefruit oil. So historically, grapefruit has really helped with balancing blood sugar. So we know when a craving happens that our pancreas is involved, that our glycemic index can kind of go nuts. So, like with an alcoholic, they're used to having a high sugar consumption. So you'll see a lot of people switching to candy. And
That's why.
Yeah. And we don't love that because we get fat. So using grapefruit oil, and one thing also I'll mention about the oil itself, it's coming from the rind of the fruit, not the actual fruit where the enzyme is. Because I've had some people that are on blood pressure meds or diabetes medication that they are not allowed to have grapefruit because of the enzyme that can interact with their medication. The rind itself does not have that and has no interaction. And there's all kinds of studies on that if you look it up.
Okay.
So using the oil in your water is freaking delicious. And then you don't have to go for the sugar. It's going to balance that the glycemic index.
So I have a question then. If somebody had a really bad sugar addiction, like let's put aside from alcohol, or had like even my mom, for example, she has dementia, and they're now calling dementia like the type 3 diabetes. Um, Grapefruit would probably really help with that. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I mean, diffusing it, that would be the fastest way.
Okay.
Having it near her.
Yeah.
So, I've like with my niece who's about 8, I've thought about that for her because she's like always wanting to be chewing on something. And I
Mm.
wonder what that is, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
it starts at a young age, like that. That's another thing. I was in a trauma recovery meeting recently and they were talking about, people in recovery, they do tend to go to food. That's their next thing. And they think it starts with the dinner table, that a lot of people, that's their time, family time, right? But a lot of family issues come up at dinner time.
Yep.
So it's like that trauma related food thing that kind of starts to resurface after we've started to clean up shop.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Interesting stuff.
yeah,
Love it. Okay.
well, I'm excited to learn breathing techniques to go with it.
Okay. Yeah. So the for the pranayama that I would recommend when you're in that really intense feeling of you want to pick up a drink. For me, it's like it's different. I'm a codependent, so like raging codependent, and when I get that desire to control, or um, even love addiction too, for love addicts, when you really, really are feeling that tense craving, um, the best one to do is left nostril breathing. Now they call it nada shodhana, but I have an actual different modification specifically for cravings. So you would take your right hand and just take your index finger and your middle finger and take it down. So you're left with these. Then you're going to take your right hand and you're going to place your thumb over your right nostril. And then you're going to inhale and exhale. Nice and slow, in and out of your left nostril. Now, normally when we do Nadi Shodhana, we inhale one nostril and exhale the other. But this particular modification is really working on the root of cravings, and it really works to reduce any intense feelings that that you want to pick up that drink. Now, I would always recommend feeling your feelings as part of reducing cravings, and but sometimes we're not in a safe environment where we can actually do that, right? So if you're not in a safe environment where it's okay to like let your anger and rage come out, or like your sadness and your grief, and you have to cry and process an emotion, this is a really good one to do. um, and just a couple little notes as well when you're doing that breath, to draw the breath into the chest. Now, we normally don't do that, but that actually will enable us to get through. And anytime that you're breathing into your belly is that activation of feeling your emotions. So as soon as you can, I would recommend get to a place where you're safe, put your hand on your belly and do deep, deep, low abdominal breathing. And that'll stimulate the the feelings that you were kind of suppressing to come up. And Kim, when you have these moments when you're like, do you ever get this when you're like, I just want to pick up a drink, or I just want to do this, but you don't know what you're feeling,
Yeah.
because it's almost like the feeling is like underneath all these layers, right? and you're like trying to identify it, because in recovery they tell you feel your feelings, but sometimes you're like, you're just so caught up that it's difficult to identify. So I find just sitting with my breath and placing a belly or a hand on my lower belly and just taking 5 minutes and just breathing into that hand over and over and over, stuff is going to come up that you didn't even know was there. And yeah, it just helps you work through myself. It helps myself like to work through whatever's going on and come out the other side of it. So those are two techniques that I would recommend. If you're in public and you don't want to feel your emotions at that time, the Nadi Shodhana is probably a good one to do. Um, and then just as soon as you can, get to a safe place and breathe into the belly.
Is this a mudra that goes with it? Or is it?
Um, this is not a mudra. No, it just, and if you don't want to do this, the yoga police is not, then they're not going to come and get you. You can simply just place your thumb over your left or right nostril and breathe in and out through your left nostril.
Awesome. So when you're doing the belly breathing, do you recommend longer exhales?
Yep. Yep. So when you do a longer exhale, it actually stimulates again that parasympathetic nervous system, so that you're resting and digesting and calming the body down and taking it out of that like state. Um, so emphasizing a long, slow exhale. It doesn't have to be much longer. You're doing it now. Does it feel good?
It really does.
It does. And it does. And I always, actually, all my classes, I always start with a sigh. So I emphasize the exhale with the mouth open. And what this does, it's like uh, Andrew Huberman. Do you know Andrew Huberman? I'm a huge fan of his, and I can't wait till his podcast come out. I'm like ready and waiting. Anyway, so the science behind it is that a sigh with the mouth open and an emphasis on the exhale is like tapping the brakes of your nervous system. An inhale, a strong emphasis on the inhale, is like tapping the accelerator. And then a long, slow exhale with the mouth closed is actually like just taking your foot off the gas. So you're coasting, you're not like, going forward, and you're not braking. So when you're in a time of panic, a real good strong exhale with the mouth open to start. Yeah.
I really feel it releasing my jaw when I do the like, because I do tend, I'm like, I got it under control.
We all think we have this illusion of control, hey?
Yeah. I have another friend in yoga, and she said that she finds God in the exhale. I was like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, that's really nice. On the exhales are very special for me too. Like, um, it's the moment that I physically let go, and I feel like that is such a huge, I've had some crazy things happen on a good exhale, and crazy, crazy good things. And I wouldn't hesitate to use the word bliss in that. And yeah, I think it's just the act of letting it all go. And that's what it's all about. So.
I love when you're talking about it, your face lit up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I've had some pretty amazing experiences with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I honestly think, like, how step 3 is the surrender step. I have really come to my own version of step 3 being, it's a somatic experience,
Yeah.
100%. And for me, it's all about physically letting go of tension. and taking, and some of my meditations are solely about those long, slow exhales where I let my shoulders melt down my back. And I do this thing where I drop my femur in my hip joint and I just let it
Mhm.
go. Because well, about my right hip, it's like it's constantly pulling up. And when I consciously let it go, it's like, this feeling just like envelops me and it's incredible. So just teaching my whole body how to do that, because in yoga, there's 11 bridges to the conscious mind, right? Like, and I'm not going to list them all, but the jaw is one, the shoulders, and the hips. So
Mm.
those are my three main that I focus on an exhale. And oh boy, feels good.
Yeah, right. Love
Mhm.
it. Well, I love that we talked about the breathing techniques, because that is something that people can take away right away. And then adding in the essential oils for changing those neural pathways and those habits in their brain. And I find it much more gentle than snapping a rubber band. To me, that always felt kind of like that Catholic flagration,
Oh, totally.
you
Yeah.
know? So I just love that smell training. It's the fastest way to accessing your brain
Hmm.
and changing habits. I highly recommend using the Essential Emotions book in conjunction. So on Monday mornings, we use this and we talk about the physical body and how to release the emotions from those storage lockers, the somatic experience. So anyway, I really enjoy doing this with you, Kristie, and thank you
Yeah.
for sharing your amazing information.
Thank you too. I'm most looking forward to starting the grapefruit one.
Mhm.
I love grapefruits. I eat them all the time, but yeah, I'm excited about that. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.